We welcome you into the broadcast booth with Mark Neely and Mark Grant. 10-1 Colorado last night. The scary thing, Mud, Rockies put up 10 without Brad Hopp in the lineup. They can put up some runs.
That shows you something about this Rockies offense, and you want to know what the Rockies have been doing against our Padres this year. Well, in 9 games, it's not just one guy. It's everybody collectively getting into the act. They're not putting everything on one guy's shoulders. In fact, 3 Rockies with 10 or more hits versus the Padres this year. 12 different players with at least 1 RBI versus the Padres this year. And this is the perfect combinations that the Rockies need, because if Helton kind of slacks off a little bit, Iannetta will pick him up. You know how this trend goes. Right now, they're firing on all cylinders. The only one deficiency I would say the Rockies have is their bullpen. They're ranked 14th in the National League, so you got to get to the bullpen early.
Well, maybe the perfect combination for the Padres. Josh Gear has been better at home than on the road, and he's been very good against Colorado. Maybe tonight's his night.
Well, Brad Hopp, 2 for 11. Dexter Fowler, 1 hit. And the rest of the guys, Atkins, Smith, Stewart. Atkins not in the lineup tonight, but you're right. There are guys that do have his number. The big key for Josh Gear tonight, Tulowitzki, Helton, Barmes, who can really hurt you with the extra base hit. We talked about that last night. Got to keep those guys off the bases. If, in fact, those guys that we just saw that don't have a lot of hits, then you got to really shut down those other 3 guys to be successful against this team.
And our pitching matchup tonight, 2 very different styles of pitchers. Ubaldo Jimenez with that power arm. He made 5 starts last season against the Padres, but somehow, even without missing a turn, makes his first start of this season against the Padres. Josh Gear has not walked a hitter in his last 3 starts. That's over an 18-inning span. And for Gear, tonight is his 3rd start of the season against Colorado. That's our Union Tribune pitching matchup. Go beyond the game. Go to Padres.uniontrib.com. Game 2 of a 4-game series between the Rockies and Padres. And the first pitch from Petco straight ahead. Padres taking the field. And let's take a look at Jim Tracy's Rockies lineup tonight. Fowler leading off in center field, .429 average during a 6-game hitting streak. Then Barmes, Helton, Brad Hopp in the lineup tonight. Batting cleanup, then Tulowitzki, Seth Smith, Ian Stewart playing third with Iannetta catching. And the pitcher is Ubaldo Jimenez. Josh Gear, the starting pitcher for San Diego.
A big key for Josh Gear is to get early outs. He doesn't throw that hard. And with that said, this team, as he takes the first pitch there, limit the base runners tonight. Last 18 innings pitched, that's 3 times out. 21 hits, he's allowed 11 runs. He has not walked anyone in that time, though.
Bunt by Fowler, scooped up by Gear. He's got to hurry it. And he gets Fowler by a step. And that's the way this game begins. Here's the defense behind Josh Gear tonight for San Diego in the outfield. Headley, Gwynn, and Venable. Cruz, Cabrera, Rodriguez, and Adrian on the infield with Alfonso catching. And 50 errors this season for San Diego. A .985 fielding percentage. That is 7th in the National League.
And last night, a couple of errors hurt the San Diego Padres. Chad Godin battled.
Down and away, ball 1 to Clint Barmas. Barmas with a 3-run home run in the 6th inning last night.
You made a good point in our pregame show, Mark Neely, about how the offense for the Rockies last night, scoring 10 runs without Brad Hopp in the lineup. Brad is well rested after the All-Star game. And Jim Tracy comes to the ball yard, and you know what? I've got things firing right now. I can afford to give my horses a day off, which was planned last week before the All-Star game.
The Rockies playing very good baseball. They're 48-41, 8 games out. But right on the heels of the Giants in the wild card race. That's hit hard and deep to left field, and it's going to carry way out. 12th of the year for Clint Barmas. 1-0 Rockies in the first. '48th RBI for Clint Barmas.
The thing that you just hate to think or say is Barmas looks like he was out in front of that one too.
Yeah.
Huh? Here we go again. Padres going to have to play catch up again.
Todd Helton takes a low strike. 23rd home run that Gear has allowed this year. And this is 15th start and 17th overall appearance. Couple of doubles last night for Todd Helton, so he now has 498 in his career. There's 2 away from becoming the 50th player in Major League history with 500 career doubles. Left center field and a long run for Tony. Not going to be able to get that. One hopper up against the fence. And there is double number 499 for Todd Helton. Well, Todd Helton with the double, had 2 last night, and doubles in his first at bat tonight.
This guy's unbelievable.
The doubles machine. 3-hit game last night. Brad Hopp in the lineup tonight, takes a strike.
You talk about home runs, extra base hits are fun. Triples are fun to watch. Everybody focuses on the home run, but when you talk about doubles, there's some pretty big names up on that list when you talk about 2 baggers.
And Tris Speaker has the most career doubles. And Todd Helton close to becoming the 50th. Join the 500 doubles club. So 1-1 to Brad Hopp. Hopp comes in 9th in the league in hitting at .320 with 14 homers. 10th in the league with 59 runs batted in. little bit inside. 3 balls and a strike. Top one of the National League leaders with runners in scoring position. 9th with a .349 average. Batting here with Helton at second. 1 out. Pulls it foul past first. A 1-out home run for Barmes, a Helton double.
I would guess you'd have to think something off speed right here. Josh Gear throws a lot of off speed stuff with first base open. Went with the fastball.
And misses high, ball 4 to walk Brad Hopp. Let's take a look at our Avalanche leaderboard. Avalanche heating and cooling. Your comfort is our priority. Todd Helton now with 499 career doubles. So he's past Buckner and Kaline, tied with Rusty Staub. And right on the heels of Goose and Olerud for 500 career. How about Tris Speaker? 792 career doubles.
I know that everybody remembers Pete Rose sliding into third base, the head first slide and going into home plate, but that's a lot of head first slides into second base there.
2 on for Troy Tulowitzki. Strike on the inner half, 1-1. Tulowitzki's numbers have been going up, coincidentally or not, since Jim Tracy has taken over as the Rockies manager. There's the off-speed strike, 1-2.
I mentioned last night how Troy Tulowitzki kind of changed his batting stance. He's more upright now. He's going with the toe tap rather than the spread out stance and no stride. And what a better guy to help him than the hitting coach Don Baylor. And he's managed, he's played, obviously, he's coached for many teams, AKA Groove Baylor. Tell you what, he was an intimidating guy at the plate.
No question. And don't think hitting him would intimidate him.
No,
he was like, whatever.
Yeah.
1-2 pitch. Through the left side, a base hit. Todd Helton's going to be held up at third. Played in by Headley, and the bases are loaded. So Tulowitzki singles and loads them for Seth Smith.
And ever since Tulowitzki has adjusted that stance at the plate, his numbers have gone up and up and up. As Darren Ballsy is going to try to figure out what's going on with Josh Gear here and how he can possibly get a grounder off the bat of Seth Smith.
Tulowitzki with the base hit, extending his hitting streak to 8 games. So here is Seth Smith, who homered last night in the 8th inning. High fly out to right field. His 8th of the year. Well, maybe the only good thing is that Seth Smith's batting here in the 1st inning, and what I mean by that is that right now he is 7 for his last 7 when batting in the 7th inning or later in a game. Here he is with the bases loaded in the 1st tonight. Nobody hitting for a higher average from the 7th inning on in the big leagues than Seth Smith, but here he is with a chance in the 1st to make it a multi-run inning for the Rockies. After Gear got the leadoff man Fowler on a bunt to begin the game. The next 4 have reached. 1 is scored. The 1-1. Little flare at third base side and foul ground. Coos can't quite get to it. A
Great
sliding
effort.
attempt.
I mean, you're trying everything you do to take that bat out of the batter's hands. This ball just not hit high enough and enough time for Coos to get underneath the baseball, so he does a nice job of sliding, eyeing the wall there and protecting himself.
Another quarter step, and he's
Yeah.
got a chance. May have caught that. Here ahead in the count, a ball and 2 strikes on Seth Smith. And K. Smith for the second out of the inning. Important strikeout for Gear here with the bases loaded.
Good breaking ball, down and in, and a lot of left-handed hitters are susceptible to that pitch, but it's got to be down and in enough. You catch too much of the plate there, and they wrap it around that foul pole down the right field line. Perfect placement from Josh Gear.
Third baseman Ian Stewart steps in with the bases loaded and 2 outs. A run in on the Barmes home run. Gear's 26th pitch of the first inning is down low for ball 1. Two and nothing to Stewart. Stewart in the opener last night, 0 for 4 with a walk and a run scored. He does have 16 home runs on the season. There is a strike from Gear.
Good changeup, but even straightens him up a little bit. Kind of buckles him. A knee buckler.
2-1 delivery. 3-1 on Stewart.
Very dangerous count here. Nowhere to put him. What do you do here? Do you go with your best stuff? A little two-seamer down and away. Hopefully maybe he hits it on the ground. Yep, that's what he did. Good pitch. And that's where pitchers learn to throw the two-seamer, throw the fastball down in the zone. You bet.
Got to bring another one right here.
Yeah, I would say so.
Runners will be off. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and a Gear 3-2 offering to Ian Stewart. Not made as Gear steps off. That will get out of play left side.
You know what really, I don't want to say discouraging, but it's frustrating is when you make a good pitch like Josh just did that time. Now you got to regroup and do it again. Hitter stays alive, he gets his hands in there, he fouls it off, fights it off. Okay, now you got to regroup and try to make another quality pitch. Nice.
Out to right field, and Will Venable. And Gear gets out of it, allowing just the 1 run on the Barmes homer, and the Rockies leave the bases loaded. Padres coming up. tonight. It has Cabrera leading off, playing short, then Tony Gwynn in center field. Adrian, then Kuz. Headley, 5 hits in his last 13. Venable, Alfonso, Rodriguez, and Gear.
Well, Ubaldo Jimenez has got some really good stuff, electric stuff, and they've got big plans for this youngster. Above average stuff with all of his pitches, and I'm talking 94 to 98 on the fastball, a 2-seamer, a 4-seamer. He'll throw up a curveball, slider, a changeup at times. And he's doing a fine job of keeping the ball in the yard this year. There's that hammer. Wow. Listen to this, in 115 2/3 innings pitched this year, he's just given up 5 home runs. We take a look at that, and that's a darn good pitch.
Jimenez only 25 years old, from the Dominican Republic. It's Cabrera to chase it in the dirt, and Iannetta down to Helton to complete the strikeout. The defense for the Rockies tonight brought to you by ST Storage, where $1 moves you in. Go to ststorage.com to find a store near you today. Smith, Fowler, and Hop in the outfield. Barmes on the infield. Guy who was the everyday shortstop before Tulowitzki arrived on the scene, now finding a home at second base.
It's all about trying to make an adjustment, not only at the plate, but also fielding and finding another position possibly, because there was a time when Clint Barmes was like
persona non grata, sent back to the minor leagues.
Exactly. A lot of hard work paid off, and swinging the bat well. And Jim Tracy likes what he sees.
Barmes, his home run in the top of the inning, giving the Rockies the early lead. Tony Gwynn hitting right at the 300 mark. .98 mile per hour fastball from Jimenez is high. 2 balls and a strike. Jimenez ready, but they're not ready at the plate. Out of play left side. Tony last night 1 for 5. He scored a run. The only Padre run, which came in the first inning last night.
Wow. How about that changeup?
At 89 miles per hour, but still had Tony out in front.
Some guys, if they throw a fastball 89 miles an hour, it makes their arm hurt. This guy's throwing a changeup at 89, and the movement on this pitch is just unbelievable. So we've seen quality, above average fastball, off the table, above average curveball, and that changeup there, quite frankly, above average.
Adrian takes 99 miles per hour inside.
He can get his pitch count up early, and if you can do that, and that's a good thing. Have him throw a lot of pitches early. There have been times when he's thrown 115, 116 pitches in only 6 innings. So he gets his pitch count up there.
A young player with the kind of arm, though, that any night he goes out there, kind of has no hit type stuff. Ability, I should say. 1-1 from Jimenez. His breaking ball bounces past the plate. Jimenez had 127 pitches in a start just over a month ago, June 12th against Seattle. Back to 90 pitches he threw in his last start against Atlanta July 10th, the fewest pitches he has thrown in a start all season. He's behind 3-1 on Adrian. A 90-mile-per-hour changeup?
Yeah, 3-1. How about that? That's pitching and not being a soft tosser. That's having electric stuff and pitching backwards. Ubaldo Jimenez turns over the changeup at 90.
High drive, left field. Seth Smith retreating it on the warning track. Calls it in. Padres go down in order. Jimenez strikes out 2. 1-0 Rockies after an inning.
Be at Petco Park as we rock the Rockies Saturday, July 18th at 7:05 and get a Padres Retro Visor.
All fans receive a free Padres Retro Visor presented by Sponge Tech. And visit Padres.com to get your tickets early and save. Ineta fouls the first one away. Got the visor finally working tonight.
It looks good on you.
Thank you.
It really does. Seriously.
We love the retro colors. The canary yellow and the mission brown.
It's always a quality item.
Ineta waits, whacks it in the air to right center field, and Gwynn cruising over. 1 down to the second. Brings up the pitcher, Ubaldo Jimenez.
His hitting has gotten a little better.
Well, 8 for 29, 276 this year. The career average 114. So yeah, it's gotten a lot better this year.
I don't think he's going to win a Silver Slugger award, but I mean, he has worked on his hitting to try to help his own cause.
Two balls and no strikes. Three and oh. And Jimenez, who has walked twice this year, has the count in his favor. Fouls it, 3-2. From 3-0 to 3-2 in the payoff pitch. Oh, fouled off the mask of Alfonso. Another start for Eliezer Alfonso. Where's Hundley, Blanco still both on the DL. Of those on the disabled list, and it's a pretty good number, unfortunately, for the Padres. The one that is closest to coming off the DL, according to Bud Black, is David Eckstein.
Oh.
Just off that outside corner, and the pitcher Jimenez walks.
Second night in a row since
in the second inning last night too, but it was a bases loaded walk to Aaron Cook last night that forced in a run. Hey, follow the road to Wintersville to Sequan every Monday and Wednesday now through August 12th, and win a share of over $500,000 in cash and hot Corvettes. Top of the order, Dexter Fowler, who began the game with a bunt and was thrown out by Gear. High fly left center, and Gwynn coasting over. 2 down in the second, and the pitcher Jimenez back to first.
Well, we all know that Josh Gear throws sinker, slider, changeup, and he tries to stay off the sweet spot. When Josh Gear is on with his game, you're going to see a lot of pop-ups because guys start lunging. He doesn't throw hard, 84, 85-ish. But guys start getting froggy, and they start lunging. They start getting out in front. Therefore, the bat kind of dips underneath the baseball a little bit, hitting underneath, and you pop it up once in a while. Sometimes you'll top it for a grounder.
In the dirt, DeBarmas, ball one. Barmas homered to left in the first. Barmas has now homered in each game of this series. Barmas homered in the 6th last night, a 3-run shot, and the solo home run in the first tonight. Strike call, 1-2.
Oh, that was almost Ephus-like. 76-mile-an-hour changeup. Watch this thing just float up there.
Barmas back to the mound. A walk to Jimenez. He is stranded. Rockies early have left 4. Coos, Headley, and Venable coming up.
The price of one in select seating sections.
Enjoy 2-for-1 prices on tickets and Wiener Schnitzel hot dogs on Wednesday, July 22nd at 12:35 with Padres 2-for-1 getaway days presented by Southwest Airlines.
A couple of nice fedoras in the crowd tonight. You know what? I'm not just saying this, but I think you would agree with me.
I'm seeing more
We're
hats.
starting to see
Yeah.
more and more hats. Not only, I mean, everywhere we travel. When we go on the road, you know, we'll be walking around the ballpark or go to lunch somewhere, and we'll see a lot of gentlemen wearing hats.
Definitely. It's not exactly Ebbets Field from the 30s, but it's a trend.
Right, yeah.
You're a trendsetter.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
I was thinking about getting braces just to follow along. Said foul pass third. But I'm already late for that one. You're done with it.
Oh, there's Fritz. It looks like a pork pie, straw pork pie.
Cruz grounds it sharply. Diving stop. Stewart from a knee across the diamond and got him. Ian Stewart. Spectacular play deep behind the bag, and the one-hop throw to Helton retires Cruz to begin the second.
Oh, and the Colorado Rocky Baseball Club is playing well. They're playing at all angles, and everything's going your way. Talk about taking away extra bases and utilizing the hop. You know, when you've got a first baseman like Todd Helton over there, just get it in the general direction. Just don't throw it over his head. Because with that glove over there, 1, 2, snag. Nice. That's a beautiful play.
One out for Headley. Line left field. Seth Smith comes in. Two gone in the inning. But one other thing I noticed on the play by Ian Stewart, and I assume this is because Helton knew he was going to get a bounce and he's got to react to the hop.
Yes.
He didn't stretch. He
Right,
stayed back.
Right. I think that's a first baseman just knowing, seeing so many hundreds and thousands of throw to first base, how to read a ball out of the hand and the way the ball is thrown from, you know, infield positions. That's a good pickup. Let's watch it. Okay, hop. You can see him reading that ball. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Base hit by Venable keeps the Padres second alive for Eliezer Alfonso. Leaning back, standing up. Venable barely got in.
Oh yeah, he was good. He was leaning a little bit. Oof, very close.
Shallow left field, and Seth Smith. Base hit by Venable. He is left on. And at the end of 2, 1-0. Top of the third inning, and let's get to tonight's opponent's history. Brought to you in part by San Diego County Credit Union, your local financial partner for over 70 years. And the Rockies come in 7 games over, third in the NL West, but right on the heels of the Giants for the wild card. And look at their winning percentage after the break since 2007. A team that got what I think 11 or 12 games under 500 at one point.
Yep.
This season. And Helton belts one to right. Foul.
Strike one. Out in front just a little bit. Well, let's take a look at the pitch. Oh, that was a breaking ball that was in. And when that ball's coming into the lefty, you know, you got to get that head out, so you're maybe out in front just a little bit too much, and you got the foul ball. Now Josh Sheehy counters by going two-seamer away.
3 hits last night for Helton, including a couple of doubles. Went the other way a couple of times with the extra base hits. And singled up the middle for his 3rd hit of the night. Actually, 4-hit night for Todd Helton. Yeah, hitting over 500. Fouls that one off, 1-2 still. 499 career doubles for Todd Helton after his double in the first tonight. .329 average for Helton, so he's top 7 in the National League in hitting, and hits one towards center field, and Gwynn in to make the catch. That one hung up long enough, and there's the first out of the 3rd. Time for our Subway $5 footlong fan poll. Todd Helton, a future Hall of Famer, A-yes, B-no. Text Subway to 269-411 to participate.
I think yes, and you know, everybody argues, oh, Coors Field, whatever. But you know what, though? This guy can hit in Iceland. He can go to Costa Rica and hit. He's nearly a 300 hitter career on the road. 81 at home, 81 on the road. Sure, the numbers at Coors Field are up there, but you know what, though? For the numbers this guy has put up, I think he's absolutely a Hall of Famer.
Especially now after last year when he had the back problem and had the one really only down year in his career. If he continues to put up the numbers that he looks like he's going to put up this year, I mean, he's on pace for over 100 RBIs, 20-plus home runs, hitting around 330. If he does that not only for this year but for another year or two, I don't think you can keep him out if he does that for a couple more years. That's into left field, and Tulowitzki has a base hit.
I mean, you can even go beyond those numbers when you talk about, you know, Silver Slugger awards, Gold Glove awards. That stuff comes into play too.
Back-to-back one-out singles for the Rockies in the 3rd sends up Seth Smith. Rockies now with 5 hits. Seth Smith, who came up with the bases loaded in the 1st, up with 2 on here in the 3rd. And ball 1 is inside. Time asked for just as Gear was ready to deliver.
Oh, that was a late time call. Josh just about to start his leg kick. This is regular speed. You be the judge. That was just an instant before Josh lifted that leg.
Two 2-0 count on Seth Smith. Rockies lead 1-0 on a first inning home run from Clint Barmas. 3-0. Taking a strike. Gear already at 60 pitches through 2 1/3 innings. Bullpen lost a guy today. Ryan Webb sent down to AAA Portland. Drew Macias added. Second baseman Rodriguez wants it with the infield fly in effect. 2 down. Brings up Ian Stewart. And it's time for the Mercedes-Benz attention assist to the game. This is the bottom of the last inning. Robbing Coos. You know, Ian Stewart, who came up as a third baseman, but since getting to the big leagues has been playing some second base, left field, and right field. But back in his natural position tonight, a sparkling play in the second, robbing Coos.
You know, I don't know if those are the plays that you can really practice either. It's just, you practice going to your right, you practice going to your left, you practice charging the baseball, but you know, the hard hit smash to your left, you know, not like that.
Got to react and go.
That's just good athletic ability.
Josh Banks now loosening in the San Diego bullpen. You're behind 2-0. Stewart fly to right his first time up. 3-0.
Josh Gear kind of flapping that wing around like he was trying to get loose or something like that.
That's usually not a good sign.
No.
Two on with 2 outs, a 3-0 count on Ian Stewart.
Don't just lay it in there here. Good pitch.
Low part of the zone, strike call. Here the step and look back at Hop at second base. A walk to Stewart, loads the bases. Third walk given up by Josh Gear. And it loads him for Chris Iannetta.
You know, as a pitcher, this is where you got to get this last out, obviously. This is where you want to get the last out. If you give up a double, you give up a double. But you don't want the bullpen guy to come in and try to clear up your own mess. You know, if I'm going to give up the runs, I want it to be my fault. But Josh Gear's got one more batter to try to get out of this mess.
Saw the 3 career grand slams for Iannetta, 2 of them this season. One of those against the Padres here at Petco. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, Iannetta getting a little froggy there. The count in his favor, 1-0. So what does he think? He goes, I'm going to swing because he's got to come to me. Well, Josh Gear changes angles and shifts gears, no pun intended there, with that slider down and away. Change up. Huh. This is like right-handed Jamie Moyer working. Change-ups, 3-1, sliders 2-0, trying to nibble at that outside part of the plate. I'm not saying Josh Gear is Jamie Moyer, but that's the way Jamie Moyer pitches.
There's 1-2 to Iannetta. Time instead.
Wow, umpire's giving a lot of credit to the hitters here. You know what I'm saying?
It's Andy Fletcher.
I mean, you don't have to grant him time. He had plenty of time to get ready.
Yeah, it is the umpire's prerogative, as you alluded to. He doesn't have to give time to the hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Missing off the outside corner, 2-2. Bases loaded. 2 outs in the Rockies' third. And runs it full. Gears shaking his head. Bud wanted to know where that last one was.
Well, let's take a look. Maybe off the plate a little bit after second look.
Runners will be going. 3-2 to Iannetta. And time again.
You don't have to grant him time every time.
Little flare, shallow right. Hop scores, Tulowitzki in. Ian Stewart to the plate, throw home. He is tagged out. But Iannetta's flaring to right brings in 2. For Iannetta is 33rd and 34th RBIs. And at the end of 2.5, Rockies now lead it 3-0.
Baseball. Nice weather. 102 out in East County. Let's take a look at this replay of William Venable coming up. A one-hopper, two-hopper. Stewart running on contact. He got it. You know what? Stewart tagged himself out, it looked like.
Yeah, Alfonso came up with the tag and missed him, and then on the way back down,
Yep.
got him.
If Stewart maybe would have tried to slide a little bit more foul territory
away,
side,
right?
because he actually brought up his hands, and actually it looked to me as if he ran into the glove of Alfonso.
And if he had not, could have possibly gotten under that or slidden to the left of it.
Either way
Or
you
to
look
the right.
at it, Padres are down 3-0.
Right, yeah. 8-9-1 for San Diego. Yeah, you see, yeah, he tagged himself out with his hand.
Yeah, and you know what? Ball, and by that time, Stewart's already committed to sliding, and that's tough to change direction when you've got one thing in mind and you've already committed.
Two-one pitch to Luis Rodriguez. 96 miles per hour makes it 2-2. Jimenez flirting with triple-digit heat. Full count on Luis leading off the third. Missed off the outside corner and a leadoff walk to Rodriguez. Pitcher Josh Gear to the plate. .182 on the season, 4 for 22, 4 sack bunts this year. Bunted in the air, foul back into the seats. 0-2. Gear will continue with 2 strikes to attempt to lay one down. Took a glance over there. It does shorten up. Gets it down. And the catcher Iannetta. The second baseman Barnes. 2-4 sack bunt gets Rodriguez down to second. 5th sack bunt of the year for Josh Gear. And here's tonight's Energy Resource Center Power Player answer. The question: which former Padres slugger leads the team in career home runs? Is it Tony, Nate, or Dave Winfield? And the answer is Nate Colbert. And if that fence at old San Diego Stadium weren't so high and so deep, Nate Colbert would have had a lot more.
Yeah, you had to hit it over the big wall.
First pitch strike to Cabrera.
You know, there was action in the bullpen last half inning, right? Josh
was
Gear
up.
kind of, he gave up 2 runs. Pitcher spot up. Bud Black could have elected to go to his bench, but too early. You've got not only managed tonight, but you've got to manage into the week. I mean, the next off day for the Padres is Friday, when in fact there's a game that day, because that's that makeup game in Philly, right?
Right. The next scheduled off day is not
until next month,
August.
Middle of the month, August 10th.
Yeah, it's 25 games in 25 days right after the All-Star break.
Yeah.
So this is game 2 of 25 in a row.
You try to squeeze as many innings out of your starters as you can. You're down 3-0, but hey, hopefully Josh can find a groove. Oh, pretty good pitch. Cabrera catches a break. The pitch up and in, up and away to hitters seems to be non-existent at times. And we've had some umpires that have called that pitch. In fact, there was one recently, I forgot where it was, but there was an umpire who was really calling the upper quadrants of the strike zone.
On the ground behind first, foul. Cabrera, a strikeout victim of Jimenez in the first. Switch hitting Cabrera. Sees the 2-2. Rolls it towards short. Tulowitzki off one leg. Gets enough on it to get Cabrera at first. Rodriguez remains at second, 2 down.
Tulowitzki, oh man, that's the Willie Mays underhand flip after making the catch in the outfield. Remember Willie Mays used to throw the ball back to the infield that way? I mean, Tulowitzki's a great athlete, and the one thing that I've always been amazed about Troy is, and we've talked about this before, but his glove. His glove isn't broken in like a traditional middle infielder's glove. It's almost like a pancake. I remember Brett Boone's glove was like that also. Watch him get in front of this thing and then you'll flip throw. That's a big league play. I mean, to accurately throw a baseball like that across your body on the move.
Practice that in your backyard, folks. That's difficult. Line center field. Fowler. And Gwynn with a base hit scoring Rodriguez. Well, Fowler came in, tried the headlong diving catch, but trapped it. And Tony has his 9th run batted in, and the Padres are on the board.
He squares up on this ball nicely, and Fowler, who's got some good speed up there, it looked like that ball may have knuckled a little bit because he gets it on the heel and just could not. That ball did not roll down into his webbing as Glenn Hoffman is sending Luis Rodriguez for the first point of the evening.
Tying run to the plate, and Adrian Gonzalez. He flied to deep left his first time up. And the leadoff walk to Rodriguez has hurt Jimenez as Rodriguez has come in to score. Nice ball inside to Adrian. Adrian's last home run was June 23rd at Seattle. Been 74 at bats. He is the tying run at the plate. He takes a strike. Down and in. 3-1. Interesting pitch here. See if he'll get anything good to hit. Jimenez challenge him.
Yeah, he may try to nibble at that outside corner. Oh, missed totally.
Way inside, ball 4. Second walk of the inning. Third walk of the series for Adrian, who walked his first 2 plate appearances last night. His 70th walk of the season for Adrian. And Bob Apodaca, the pitching coach, out with the tying runs on base for Kuz coming up.
Have you ever talked to Bob Apodaca?
A few times.
Yeah. Good man.
Interesting man.
Yes, he is. Very philosophical.
I was going to say articulate, educated.
Yeah. Been in the game a long time. Remember
Introspective, his first days?
First time I met Bob was when I was with the Shreveport Captains, 1983. And he was, I believe he was pitching coach with the Jackson Mets.
83. Was Strawberry on that team?
No, Straw was in Tidewater, I think, that year.
Well, he'd already gone past Double A. Cruz was robbed by Ian Stewart in the second inning. A high strike. Good rip, but missed it. And he's in the hole 0-2. Stays off the high heat.
You know, there's one other thing about Jimenez that, as we take a look at his pitch count, it seems like he can always run into one bad inning to where it could just all come unraveled. You know, a little two-out thunder here, and you tie up this ball game. Oh.
Strikeout of Kuz ends the inning. The Padres do get a run on only one hit and strand two at the end of 3. 3-1 Colorado. Top of the 4th inning, and let's get to the Aflac trivia question for tonight. Aflac! Hey, which Padres pitcher did Troy Tulowitzki get his first major league home run off of? The answer in just a bit.
You know, I'm going to take the first guy that came to my mind. Should I say it or write it down? Because I don't want to give it away.
Why don't you write it down? Quickly 0-2 on the Rockies pitcher, Ubaldo Jimenez, who walked in the second. Oh-2 delivery. Into the box seats on the first base side. Jimenez threw 3 innings on the mound, has allowed 1 run, 2 San Diego hits, both singles, one by Venable, one by Gwynn. Strikeout of Jimenez. The second of the night for Josh Gear. Leadoff man gone to the fourth, and here's the top of the order. Brings up Dexter Fowler.
And it is so important, especially when that pitcher leads off, to get that first out.
Thrown out bunting in the first and fly to center in the second, and Fowler takes inside and low ball one. Fowler takes outside. Dexter, who grew up in Atlanta, actually got to make his major league debut late last season with the Rockies at Atlanta.
But Jim Tracy was raving about him today in the dugout, about how he's getting better with each and every game played, and especially batting from the right side.
Off the outside corner.
Jim Tracy, man, great interview. 5-6 minute interview. If you got 5 or 6 minutes, he's a three question interview, just like Tony Gwynn was. Tony was the best.
And walk to Fowler. And the rookie Fowler, who's top 5 in the National League in steals, is on base. Barmes hit the plate, who's hit one out tonight and hit one to the mound. Fouled off by Barmes. Barmes' homer in the first, a solo shot, which really fits along with what Gear has given up. And yeah, he's given up a bunch of home runs, 23, but 15 of those have been solo home runs. And 5 of the last 6 he's allowed have come with nobody on base. Another check on Fowler. Remember, Fowler had that big night back in late April at Coors Field. He stole 5 bases in the first 4 innings of a game against the Rockies, or against the Padres. In fact, that's a quarter of his total already on the season, which is at 20.
You know, for a guy like Josh Gear, who throws a lot of off-speed stuff too,
I think that would be
might pick a right count.
Conducive.
Exactly.
20 at 27. There goes Fowler. It's a pitch out. Alfonso had to reach for it.
Wow.
And then Alfonso's throw is high. '21st stolen base of the season for Fowler. So even despite pitching out, Padres can't throw him out.
Yeah, with that speed, and then the back end of this play, that ball is actually tipped by Cabrera and held on by Luis Rodriguez. I mean, what's that tell you? You sniff something, you pitch out, and you still can't get them.
Got to execute. 2-2 count on Barmes.
And it really didn't seem like it was the best jump. You know.
Right.
It wasn't like bang, bang. You know, as soon as that leg went up, you know, he went. He got a decent jump, but still, he's got that speed. Even if he doesn't get a good jump, he's got that speed to make up.
It goes full on Barmes. 8th 3-ball count of the night for Josh Gear. Right off the end of the bat, fouls. Still 3-2. Nearly 90 pitches for Gear. And just in the 4th. Pulled to third, one hopper. Kuz to his feet, throw across out. Now Fowler will advance to third. Who's getting the out of Barmas? But good base running by Fowler, who waited for the throw across and still advances.
Yeah, Kuz squared up like a catcher, the ball in the dirt. He took that one off the chest. This ball gets by him. That's a run, especially with the speed of Fowler. And making up with an arm, he gets it. He gets Barmas by at least 2 steps. And Adrian working the magic over there, his footwork, going to the foul territory side of first base.
So good at that.
Yep. He makes it look so easy. He's not the quickest guy as far as running, but in his little comfort area, he's good with his feet.
Yeah, his footwork is excellent.
Around the bag, adjusting, you bet.
That's off the plate. So Josh Gear came into this start having not walked a hitter in any of his last 3 starts, but he has walked 4 tonight.
Thank goodness none of them have scored yet.
With the 4 walks is a career high, and he's behind Helton 3-0. Fowler at third, 2 outs in the Rockies' 4th. Fowler walked, stole second, advanced to third on a ground out. Grounded to Adrian, he'll take it himself. Rockies strand their 6th base runner of the night. It'll be Headley, Venable, and Alfonso up for San Diego when we come back. Which Padres pitcher Detroit Tulowitzki at his first Major League Baseball home run off of. And you were right. Your gut instinct was Woody Williams.
Yeah, he was the first guy that just came to mind. I did not know that answer, but for some reason, Woody just...
2 balls and a strike on Headley as he leads off the San Diego 4th. They cut at the 97-mile-per-hour heater. Chase hit the ball sharply his first time up in the second, but lined out to the left fielder Seth Smith. One gone on the strikeout. Let's take you back. Troy Tulowitzki's first major league home run comes off Woody. Hit it here at Petco. Just about dead center field.
Number 14 back then, Tulowitzki, number 2 now. Do you know the story behind that?
I know why he wears 2, but I'm not sure who was wearing 2 at the time for the Rockies.
Did he wear 2 at LSU?
At Long Beach?
Long Beach, I mean. Who's the guy that went to LSU, I'm thinking? Who are the teammates that went to LSU? Oh, I'm thinking of Fontenot and Terrio. That's what I'm thinking of.
Okay. I believe yes. He wore 2 there, and he wore 2 in the minor leagues as well in the Rocky system.
And look at that glove.
Same glove he's had.
Love that.
Ever. Even a miss by Venable. Just keep restringing it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it looks like one of those gloves like in the old days. Remember they used to leave their gloves at their position?
Yeah, and
like back in the Lou Boudreau days, after the inning was over, they just throw their glove
them out there.
Yeah,
just leave them in the outfield. Leave them in the grass.
Yeah.
Wonder when they stop doing that.
That's a good question.
Hit to the right side. Diving stop. Barmes gets up. Throw a little wide. Greg Gibson, the first base umpire, gave it a little extra oomph and a little extra look, but he calls out Venable for the second out.
Well, the Rockies have been making some defensive plays tonight. We saw Tulowitzki come in and flip one to first. We saw Stewart at third, and now Barmes quickly getting to his feet and firing a pellet, and yeah, he got him. About a quarter step. And once again, Helton has to react to his left.
He had to stretch and keep his foot on the back for that one. Off speed, strike 1 to Alfonso. Eliezer in the second, fly to left. It's the breaking ball to third, diving stop, this time to his feet, and Stewart throws him out.
Did you see he realized he was running? He took a little bit of extra time on that one.
Threw out Coos from a knee in the second, but this time with the catcher Alfonso running, Stewart takes the time to get up.
Mid-game recap brought to you by Murray Lambert Construction. It's a great time to remodel, folks, with Murray Lambert because prices will never be lower. So take advantage of their contractor discounts on finishes and fixtures. For more information, get on the web and go to murraylambert.com.
3-1 Rockies into the fifth, and that's hit foul down the left field side by Brad Hopp. Hopp in the first walk, then in the third, singled and scored. Hopp, then Tulowitzki and Seth Smith in the Rockies' fifth. Strike call. You know, I'm going up and down the Rockies batting order tonight. All 9 homegrown.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
Base hit for Hopp, his second of the game. Yeah, all of them either drafted or, in Jimenez's case, since he's Dominican, signed and developed in their farm system.
That is really impressive. You never see that,
right.
Hardly.
Yeah, every one of them. Here's Tulowitzki, who was singled twice. Leadoff man is reached for the first time tonight for Colorado. Got him out in front of the change. No balls, 2 strikes. Here's 0-2 pitch. Instead, a check on Hopp, who did not have a very large lead.
You know what's neat about that when you mention that? Obviously, it tells you something about the organization and the talent in the organization. But what I look at it, the way I look at it, is these guys playing together in the minor leagues together at one certain time.
Sure.
Maybe like Tulowitzki's up, been up for a while. Maybe he didn't play, obviously with Fowler in the minor leagues. But, playing A-ball, AA, AAA together, and that's part of the bonding process of being teammates and then getting to the big leagues and like, you know what, guys, we got something special here. We're pretty darn good.
I would think that plays a part, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. Hey, remember that year we were getting $10 meal money on the road? And we all had to pitch in. We had to buy a loaf of bread and peanut butter and jelly and make sandwiches on the road. I've done that.
PB&J, man.
I had a roommate. He grew up in the same hometown as I did. We crossed paths. We were teammates in Shreveport. He brought an electric skillet on the road with him. We'd go to the local store and buy hamburger helper and buy a pound of meat.
Ground beef, yeah.
Cook it up in his room, and guys would dig in and pitch in.
Hamburger helper.
Yeah.
On the road. Tulowitzki hit by the pitch. And it's 2 on, nobody out. And Gear, who has walked a career high 4 and now hit a batter, has evidently faced his last batter of the night.
Wanted to go inside, and it gets the thigh of Tulowitzki. And that might be all for Josh Gear.
Four innings plus 2 batters into the 5th for Gear. And Banks will come on. Stop by Discount Tire for a free tire inspection and air gauge. And if you're not satisfied with one of their tires, feel free to bring it back. Pitches in San Diego County. We're safe, sound, and standing by you. The new hurler is Josh Banks.
Well, chance for Josh Banks to hold and possibly get a victory here as they trail 3-1. Josh Banks also, he could be that swing man, starter, long guy. But the pitch count just got Josh Gear tonight in that one inning. They gave up a couple runs. That was in the third. Threw a lot of pitches in that third inning. The walks also hurt him tonight, too.
And career high 4. And Banks inherits 2 on, nobody out in the 5th. And Seth Smith coming up for Colorado.
You know, as a pitcher, I would have to say it's really, really frustrating. You're in the top of the 5th. You need to go 5, right, to get the decision.
Mm-hmm.
Although you're trailing 3-1, only 2 runs, you want to get that 5th inning in there. You never know what's going to happen offensively. So that's a tough break.
Smith laying the bunt down. Banks going to go for the lead man and gets the out. So they get Hop.
It's always nice to get that lead runner. Is this ball bunted too hard? 1, 2. No. It's just a nice job by Banks getting off the mound. And all you have to do is get it there because it's a force play. So they get that lead runner. Getting back to Josh Gear, though, 48 pitches total in the 3rd and 4th inning. So according to my math, that's 24 pitches an inning.
That's pretty good math.
Yeah.
And Stewart has walked it fly to right. Breaking ball drops in for a strike. So Stewart hitless tonight, but has made 2 excellent defensive plays at third base. Couple of diving stops behind the bag. Check swing foul, 0-2. Ian Stewart married the daughter of one of his minor league managers.
Really?
Yeah, Joe Mikulik.
Oh, I played with Joe. Boy, I am getting old.
He's the manager at Asheville.
He's the guy who snapped.
A couple of years ago,
the
yeah.
That
made all the highlight reels a few years ago. Yeah. He's managed at Asheville for a number of years.
Yeah, I played with Joe in Tucson when he was the property of the Houston Astros back in 1993.
Ian married Joe's daughter.
No kidding. Oh, my goodness.
One, 2. Fouled off. Susan, his wife's name. The former Susan Mikulik. Two on, 1 out in the Rockies' 5th inning.
Is Joe still managing?
I believe he's still in Asheville, yes. Let me double check that.
Asheville, isn't that where Crash Davis broke the home run record in minor leagues?
I think that was part of the story.
Yeah, he was on the downside. He went to played for the Asheville Tourists.
And of course, that's where Everett Cabrera played last year.
Right. And Annie wrote the letter to the Sporting News to let him know.
And yes, Joe Mikulik is in his 10th season this year as the Asheville Tourist manager.
Wow. He can run for mayor.
Outside from Banks, 2-2. Rockies leading 3-1. They scored in the first on a home run solo shot from Barmes. Added 2 in the third on a 2-run single from Chris Iannetta. Padres with 1 in the bottom of the third on a Tony Gwynn RBI single. That'll reach the seats.
Well, kind of like Josh Gear, Josh Banks will throw everything and anything up there. Fastball, curveball, slider, change, knuckleball, split.
Well, we saw the sign for the knuckler from Alfonso on the last road trip, which is the upside down loser sign, right?
Right.
Runners take off. Belted to right near the short porch and hits off the fence. Runners that were on the move, Tulowitzki and Smith each scored. For Ian Stewart, a 2-run double makes it 5-1.
That ball was laced. It looked like it was something off speed. That looked like an off-speed pitch, maybe a knuckleball on the inside part of the. Yes, it was a knuckleball. You see it out of his hand. Stewart recognized that pitch. He was out in front with his stride, and he's about maybe 10 feet from going to the porch. Well, it got ugly for the Padres last night in the 6th when the Rockies scored 3. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah, now we have confirmation that's actually a split finger grip. I was kind of fooled by the rotation.
Hyanetta, double play ball. I should say the out at first base, sending Stewart over to third. Brings up the pitcher, Jimenez. He will throw that knuckler at times. We saw it a couple of times in San Francisco.
And in San Francisco, unlike here, there's not a lot of wind here. Up at Alphabet Park, they've got those gusts of wind to where that knuckleball can work to your advantage.
Now with the knuckleball, you actually do want the wind in your face, right, as a pitcher?
Correct.
So you want it blowing out.
Yep.
So Tim Wakefield, by the way, is going to pitch till he's, what, 50?
I love watching him pitch. Love to watch knuckleballers. In fact, one of my winter ball years in Puerto Rico, I've roomed with Tom Candiotti, and he went down there to throw the knuckleball. And I remember talking to Tom, and I said, what's the ideal rotation from out of the hand to the plate? He said 1.5 rotations. So you're talking if it goes like this, 1 and then half. Well, you got to realize it's 60 feet 6 inches. And he specifically went down there in winter ball to work on that pitch because Cleveland signed him. And the idea is, and if you watch Tim Wakefield, he's fun to watch. You're actually just pushing the ball. When you watch his arm action, you don't get that big arm swing. You got to shorten up and push, and therefore it comes out like that.
Foul up the first base line.
This is not the way to throw knuckleballs. The tarantula will show you. That spider's got a hold of a tennis ball.
I didn't know a tarantula played tennis.
But it's really a fascinating pitch. Remember Mark Lemke?
Oh, the Braves, yeah.
Yeah, he retired from baseball and then went back to try to pitch in the independent leagues, throwing the knuckleball. It didn't work out for him.
Really?
Yeah.
Soft liner to Rodriguez sends the inning. Rockies add 2 in the 5th and now lead it by 4. Oh, what a night.
Yeah, great song.
Sure.
Late December back in '63.
Interesting subject matter in that song as well, but we won't get into that. Here's Ubaldo Jimenez.
And a little Boogie Woogie Oogie by Taste of Honey.
A Taste of Honey.
Being played on the PA system here.
8-9-1 for the Padres in the fifth. Luis Rodriguez leading off. First pitch hacking, it fouls it away. Louis walked leading off the third and scored the lone San Diego run in that frame. .63 pitches for Jimenez. Working here into the bottom of the fifth. And one out of the fifth. His fifth strikeout.
He just froze, Luis, with the two-seamer that comes back. That's great action. Two-seamer comes right back inside corner, you bet. That's a good pitch.
Pitcher spot due up, so Kyle Blanks will pinch hit. Blanks batting for Banks.
You know, we brought up Tim Wakefield.
Sure.
You know, we were talking about Clint Barmas earlier and how, you know, he was kind of sent down to the minor leagues, kind of forgotten about. Wakefield now.
Oh, yeah, he had a spell there.
He was basically out of the game.
You know, after his Pirates days, he disappeared for a while, didn't he?
He's a guy who had to fight back and bounce back. Another guy, in fact, you know what? My stock just went up in Jamie Moyer. I've got XM in my car. He had an interview today with Jody McDonald and Rob Dibble. I'll tell you what, that guy, Jamie Moyer, you talk about a class act. He is the best. He's like my favorite Major League player right now.
He'll speak his mind, too.
Just talked about pitching and about his foundation and about teammates and about being a team player and just the whole spectrum.
Interesting guy.
And there's a guy who had to bounce back towards the middle of Hickory. He could have very easily hung it up in the early 90s.
Blanks walks on the 3-2 pitch. It's a string of 5 in a row retired by Jimenez. Third walk handed out to the Padres tonight. Top of the order, Everett Cabrera.
It seems like just when the Padres may have gotten something going, you get a couple base runners. Jimenez breaks out that curveball and makes a nasty pitch to get out of it.
That's a rocket towards the alley in right center field. Gonna roll all the way to the fence. Here comes Blanks, and Cabrera is standing at third. The ball gets loose. It's picked up by Helton. RBI triple for Everett Cabrera. And it's 5-2. Third triple of the season for Cabrera.
I was just about to say how those 2 runs in the 5th inning really helps the Rockies and hurts the Padres, because in a situation in this inning, you know, a bloop and a blast, and you're right back in it if the Rockies still had 3. Well, Everett splits the gap. He is off to the races, doesn't even break stride. And by the time he cruised into third base, the ball had just gotten by. But you know what, though? You don't want to get thrown out the plate. You've got 1 out. You've got your second place hitter. You've got Adrian on deck. So many things can happen. He sure is fun to watch, isn't he?
He is indeed. And his 11th RBI, had a chance to get these 2 right back that the Rockies scored in the top of the inning.
He will hit an inside the park home run someday.
And it's going to be in that same general direction that he just hit that last one.
You know what's going to happen? He's going to hit it to the gap. He's got to hit it hard enough to where maybe it caroms off the wall.
He's got to get a little funny kick.
Out of the reach of the outfielders. You know, I'm going to call fair, but Andy Fletcher, he's called time for both sides. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he hasn't played favorites.
Yeah.
That ball bounces, and here comes Cabrera. He scores standing up. It's 5-3. Iannetta's late throw home.
I thought that was going to smoke
Almost
Everett.
got him, yeah. A wild pitch makes it a 2-run game.
Now I'm wondering, does Tony Gwynn play this off, or does the umpire not realize? I'm not saying maybe it didn't hit him, but from our angle, from the center field camera angle, it may have looked like it could have had a chance to hit Tony. Maybe it bounced between his feet.
Once it foul, and it goes to 2-2.
Let's take a look from the side. Clearly hits in front of his foot, didn't it?
Yeah, it hit in front of the back foot. What you're saying? With a wild pitch thrown by Jimenez, it did bounce in front of Gwynn. It got away.
Speaking of triples, you know who holds the record for all-time triples for the San Diego Padres?
Strikeout of Gwynn for out number 2.
Tony Gwynn Sr. with 85. Jimenez goes with the fastball, tailing fastball up and away. And it looks like all upper body right there from Tony. Maybe he was thinking another pitch or maybe a different location. One thing for sure is I think Ubaldo Jimenez tonight has been tough because he's thrown all of his pitches. He's thrown it behind the count. They're all above average. Still got 97 on the fastball.
With movement.
Yes. That was the 80th pitch. Look at that.
Drops it in for a strike, 1-1. Adrian has walked and flied to deep left. A bit inside, 2 balls and a strike. Padres have gotten the 2 runs back that the Rockies scored in the top of the inning and made it a 2-run game again. Two and two.
Two-seamer up and out of the zone.
Check. Appeal. No swing, says third base umpire Tim McClellan, and it's a full count. Infield shift on. 3 defenders on the right side of the infield. See the third baseman Stewart basically playing with a shortstop normally would.
Off-speed pitch here.
Nope. No. 100 miles per hour, but it's down and in, ball 4. He walks Adrian for a second time tonight.
See, now this is what I learned when the Rockies came to town, where one of the differences with Jim Tracy he is letting his pitchers, rather than having the line 4 2/3, you're going to see 5 1/3. Rather than seeing 6 2/3, you're going to see 7 1/3. He's going to let his guys work out of it.
So there's more rope given.
Exactly. And you know what that does? It shows you confidence. Ubaldo Jimenez, 25 years old. He's got great stuff, well above average stuff. This tells me that his manager's saying, you know what? He knows I can get out of this. And look at that. First pitch slider for a grounder.
It's Kuz on the ground ball to short. And the force play at second ends the inning. 5-3 Rockies. .com for tickets. Your Hot Wheel will come nicely packaged.
Collector's item.
69 Pontiac GTO. Very nice.
Did you know that back in '69, the GTO, they nicknamed it the Judge?
The Judge?
Yeah, Pontiac seemed to be saying that this car has authority, but like the Roadrunner and its ilk, it doesn't take itself too seriously, hence the name the Judge. Isn't that pretty cool?
Nice info. Hey, here's Edward Mujica.
And try to keep them close. 2-run deficit, still plenty of baseball left, only in the 6th inning.
Mujica facing the top of the order, and Fowler squaring and taking a strike. The Judge.
Yeah.
Fowler hits it sharply, but right at the shortstop, Cabrera. 2 pitches and 1 out in the top of the 6th. Mujica has not pitched since Saturday in San Francisco when he worked a scoreless inning. So into a game in the 6th tonight. Bit earlier than we're used to seeing Edward.
Yeah.
Normally he's a 7th or 8th inning guy.
Well, last night there was Ekstrom, Webb. Webb went 2 innings, but then he was sent down to AAA Portland. Meredith went the 9th. He threw 1 inning.
And foul will reach the seats, and it's 0-2. Barbas hit a solo homer in the 1st, has also grounded out twice since then.
Oh, how nice. That little boy is going to go home with a baseball.
Going up after the high one. Barmas strikes out. Fifth strikeout for Padres pitching tonight.
Well, these Colorado Rocky hitters are going to have to turn up the dial a little bit after facing Gear and Banks. Mujica in the mid-90s. 95, 96.
Elton jumping on the first pitch and pops it up out into shallow left. Cabrera. Mujica sets him down in order. Rockies go 1-2-3 for the first time tonight. Items at selected concession stands every Sunday home game. And you can enjoy breakfast from tables on the outfield warning track or the batter's eye porch before the game. Get there early. Seating is first come, first serve. And Park at the Park gates open at 10:30 Sunday morning. Visit Padres.com/breakfast for more details. And that's hit down the line in left. It lands foul. Headley flirting with extra bases here, beginning the sixth. Home half in a two-run game. Just a few feet foul. Headley, Venable, and Alfonso coming up here in the San Diego sixth. 5-8-0 for the Rockies, 3-3-0 for San Diego. Rockies have stranded 7. Padres have left 4.
So the Rockies tonight making some serious defensive plays, and Chase Headley just missing extra bases. And Jimenez goes to the off-speed stuff again.
A strikeout.
But when you got a guy that throws 97, 98, and he drops that split finger on you, it has the illusion of a fastball. That's tough to lay off.
7 Ks for Jimenez here with 1 out in the 6th. Venable loses the bat. Caught by that lady. Right over Bruno's head. John, you all right? He's eating as usual. Shocker there.
I didn't know they made a quad X in that shirt.
suddenly we're at the gun show. Tops the breaking ball, foul 0-2. It's back-to-back strikeouts. To begin the 6th, and now 8 for Jimenez.
Oh, the movement on that fastball.
Taylor well away from him.
Almost handcuffed Iannetta.
The A's are Alfonso looks at a strike.
You know, the one thing that kind of, and this is something that's just, I just observed. It kind of hurts my elbow when he spikes it. When he comes out of his glove and he spikes that ball back, Jimenez, he comes out of his glove and he straightens that arm. And my elbow is just barking after just watching. So watch when he goes into his delivery, when he takes the ball out of the glove and he just spikes that ball in back of him right there.
Over by the Padre dugout, it will land on top of the dugout.
Let's take a look. Watch his arm out of the glove. Bang. Talk about hyperextending your elbow. I mean, do that 105 times. Seriously. I guarantee you'll have a block of ice on your elbow tomorrow.
Two count. Jimenez strikes out the side in the San Diego 6th. He's now fanned 9, which equals a season high for the Rockies right-hander. Chevrolet, your home for the Silverado Superstore. Gorgeous Friday night. Second inning of work now for Mujica into the 7th. A 5-3 Rockies lead, and their cleanup hitter leads off Brad Hopp. On the inside corner, strike 1 to Hopp, who has singled twice, scored once, and walked once. Line down the left field side, foul. Hop, Tulowitzki, and Smith for the Rockies in the 7th.
I thought you were going to say Hop to Malou.
Skip to Malou. And we mentioned all 9
That's a great nugget, my friend.
are homegrown for the Rockies, but of their 25-man roster currently, 15 are homegrown. That's a pretty impressive total.
Very impressive. Because, you know, you figure pitching staff, you're going to have some free agents in there. You're going to have some trades. And
quite a few. 2-2 count on Hop. Hop out looking. Second strikeout for Mujica. One away in the 7th.
Mujica's arm is fresh and full of life. Inside corner, nice frame by Fonzie for the strikeout.
Yeah, the Padres starting night tonight, 4 homegrown. Adrian, or I'm sorry, Chase, Will, 3, Josh. Cabrera, actually, who's from the Rockies organization originally. Tulowitzki, high fly, short right. And Venable calls off Rodriguez.
And then on the bench, you've got Macias, Lobaton, right? And Blanks.
That are homegrown.
Right.
So there's 6 of the position. Well, I'm including Gear, though, of the starters tonight. Seth Smith 0 for 3.
You can add Tim Stauffer to that list now, right?
Yeah, now that he's back, right?
Yeah.
Drafted by the Padres. He will start on Monday. His second start. Well, this is where Seth Smith shines, the 7th inning on. And, you know, that's uncanny.
He is, what is now, 8 for 8 now? His last?
8 for his last 8 when hitting in the 7th inning or later in a game. And now, 26 for 61 on the season in the 7th inning and later. Highest average of any major league player with 50 or more at bats in that situation. So he's hitting .426 from the 7th inning on.
He likes the high fastball, that's for sure.
The guy who is behind Seth Smith in that category kind of surprised me. Number 2 in batting average 7th inning on is the Dodgers' Matt Kemp.
Really?
At .405. That was coming into play tonight. Rodriguez on to Adrian to get Stewart. A hit and a man left on. Time to stretch at Petco Park on this Friday night. 5-3 Colorado. many times before. Luis Rodriguez leading off. Walked and scored in the third and fanned in the fifth.
Hey,
Over Iannetta to the backstop 2-0.
looks like a breaking ball that just didn't break. And Iannetta just was anticipating a bigger break, but it just flattened out.
A fly ball to left center field, and Dexter Fowler cruising over. Just over 100 pitches for Jimenez, and they have a left-hander up in the bullpen, Franklin Morales.
Well, Jimenez has thrown as many as 127 pitches. That was back in May. Back in June, I take that back.
And your pinch hitting for Mujica. Edward, who threw 2 scoreless innings. Rockies led 1-0, 3-0, 3-1, 5-1. Now 5-3 Colorado near the bottom of the 7th. I know the Padres have been playing catch up really from the get-go tonight. It's a tight one here late.
Yeah.
Held off right side by Edgar, 2-2.
It's been some great pitching by Jimenez, but also Jimenez has to really give kudos to his defense. They've taken what, maybe 4 or 5 hits away from the Padres tonight.
10 strikeouts for Jimenez, a season high. Ian Stewart has made 2 spectacular defensive plays tonight.
High breaking ball, and Edgar kind of behind on that high breaker.
Shortening up, looks at ball 1. Breaking ball is low. Triple and an RBI for Cabrera in his last at bat. Also scored on a wild pitch in that inning. Two outs, bases empty in the San Diego 7th.
Oh, that's quality. Nice grab.
Laced into the seats. Rolled up to first, and Helton takes it himself. And the Padres down in order. That is 7 in a row retired by Ubaldo Jimenez. At the end of 7, it's 5-3 Colorado. He's beat the Cardinals 10-6, and Major League record 259,000 plus fans would attend the 4-game series. They used to be able to pack them in at Mile High Stadium.
Now, 94 was still at Mile High, correct?
Yeah, that was the last year at Mile High Stadium because they could jam 75,000 in there.
I remember games there was 80,000. That was some kind of nice, too. That was fun. As Luke Gregerson grabs the pill, gets up on the bump. The bullpen has done a nice job the last 2 innings, 6th and 7th innings against the Rockies. So those 2 innings that have hurt the Padres. They put up record numbers in the 3rd and the 5th.
Catcher Chris Iannetta. Instead of breaking ball, strike 1.
It's been 5 days since Luke has been out there. It was against the Giants his last time out. Inning in the 3rd. He struck out 3. So seems to have that shoulder back in working order.
Gregerson has allowed just 1 run at home this season in 17 appearances at Petco, totaling 22 innings. Iannetta with that flare into right in the 3rd, which turned into a 2-run single. Goes around and strikes out, 1 away in the 8th.
When Luke is on, he will throw that slider early for a strike and then just off the dish. And that shows he's got great location, great feel on that pitch when he needs to throw it for a ball. He did it just that way for that strikeout.
Gonzalez is going to bat for Jimenez. So Jimenez goes 7 innings. About 3 runs on only 3 hits. And strikes out a season high 10, which is just 1 off a career high for Jimenez, who had fanned 11 Padres back on May 10th of last year here. Carlos Gonzalez started in right field last night for the Rockies and went 2 for 4 with a couple of runs scored and also stole a base.
Yeah, I read an interesting nugget in the Rockies game notes before the game regarding Carlos Gonzalez.
What their record is when he gets in a game?
I found this quite fascinating. Yeah. The Rockies are 20-4 when this kid starts at any position.
You know, I saw that same nugget and it got me thinking. Stats could certainly be twisted in a lot of different directions. That makes it a ball and 2 strikes. And I guess you'd really have to go back and look at the 24, 25 games he's appeared in and see how much he has contributed. But that's a pretty large sample size. 24 games. He strikes out here as a pinch hitter. So in theory, they could be 21-4 if they win this game, and all he will have done is strike out.
Right.
But still, it stuck out. I mean, you and I both noticed that in their notes that Gonzalez seems to be in the right place at the right time for Jim Tracy. Dexter Fowler takes down low. You know, Rockies, they could be just a half game behind the Giants. Pirates beat San Francisco tonight 2-1 in 14 innings. Rockies looking for their 7th win in their last 9 games and their 3rd in a row. Two balls and a strike. Fowler's reached base once. That was a 4th inning walk. Stole a base and was stranded at 3rd. Two outs, nobody on in the Colorado 8th. Slider just missing inside. And a full count. Now looking. Gregerson strikes out the side in the top of the 8th. And the heart of the order coming up for the Padres in the bottom half. Bottom of the 8th inning. New pitcher for Colorado. They bring in a left-hander, Franklin Morales.
Well, like you said, the Padres only trail by 2. So one of the ways to possibly get back at these Rocks are getting into their bullpen. I mentioned it last night that the Rockies, as far as their ERA is concerned, collectively they're 14th in the National League on a 4.9 ERA.
Gonzalez stays in the game and takes over in left field. We've got lefties and Gwynn and Adrian Gonzalez. The first 2 hitters here in the bottom of the 8th, facing the lefty Franklin Morales. Tony knocked in the first Padres run in the 3rd with a single to center, and is also fanned twice. Two and one. Wynn, Gonzalez, and Kuzmanoff in the Padres 8th. That evens it up. Martin Morales hitting 94.
Oh yeah, he can get it up there now.
After falling behind 2-0, he comes back and strikes out Gwynn.
Well, when you got the fastball from the left side at 90 to 95, you got the curveball, and then you have to protect. That's tough. High 3/4 arm angle for Franklin Morales. And he's basically their left-handed specialist because there's another Rocky up in the bullpen, a right-hander. Morales has Gwynn, who he just faced, and then now Gonzalez. He's just herky-jerky enough to throw some deception in there too, you know, with that live stuff of his.
Yeah, he can kind of does something with that front arm, and
not really smooth. But I'm not saying it's a bad thing, you know.
He's bringing it up there.
You know, if you get your body and your arm in a good position consistently, you can do anything you want before you release the baseball.
2 balls and a strike on Adrian, who's walked his last 2 plate appearances. His only official at bat came of the first when he flied to deep left. 24 home runs for Adrian. Still tied for second behind Pujols. By the way, Albert Pujols hit 2 more homers tonight.
Stop it.
For the Cardinals in their win over Arizona. The appeal went, says Tim McClellan. Pujols now leading the major leagues with 34 home runs.
Wow.
Cardinals beat Arizona 6-1. A chopper over the mound. This is the second shortstop that fields with the shift. Tulowitzki kind of looked like he was playing the second base spot. This is a 6-3 put out of Adrian.
Well, lefty on lefty, Morales versus Gonzalez. First pitch, you see Morales trying to keep the ball away. That ball right down the dish, and then he goes to the breaking ball. That high fastball out of the hand, and, you know, that last pitch down the middle of the plate again, but still, there's some serious giddy up from the left side, and Morales gets his grounder.
Who's 0 for 3? Robbed of a hit by Ian Stewart at third base back in the second. Has also struck out and hit into an inning-ending fielder's choice. Five, 3 Rockies in the 8th. Almost 22,000 paid tonight at Petco Park. 21,887. Three San Diego hits tonight. Singles by Venable and Gwynn, and a triple from Cabrera. The triple by Everth in the 5th, the last San Diego hit. In on him, a wave and a miss. Hit hard and deep to center field. Fowler back though to the warning track and drops it.
He Cadillac it.
And Kuz into second.
He tried to Willie Mays Hayes it. Did you see that?
Well, a 2-base error keeps the door open in the Padres' 8th and will bring the tying run up.
That just doesn't look good. Thought Kuz may have had it, and then wow. Tying run to the plate, yo.
The tying run is the switch hitting Chase Headley. Second error of the season charged to Fowler. That kicks away, and Cruz is the third.
You know, I might be going out on a limb here, but see if you agree with me. As we take a look at this wild pitch, boy, I don't know whether that was a cross-up or what, but Ionetta's, well, it's a pass ball, or it's a wild pitch. Anyway, even if Fowler makes that catch for the out, I think Jim Tracy says something to him. What do you think? Or one of the coaches say something to him.
Maybe a coach, yeah. For Cadillacing?
You think?
Well, isn't this now lesson learned? If you do it once, that's the third. Stewart. And as it turns out, the Fowler error does not lead to a Padre run in the 8th. We'll go to the 9th at Petco. Still 5-3 Rockies.
Try to work some magic in their last half as they trail by 2.
Coors Light freeze cam.
Barmas last night on the left, tonight on the right. Identical swing, it looks like, huh? Same pitch, maybe? Well, the bottom line is, yeah, consistency pays off. But also, you have to make an adjustment as a pitcher because Barmas capitalized on both those pitches, both for
home runs.
Squeeze, as they used to say up in Montreal.
3-run homer last night in the 6th. Solo shot in the 1st tonight. He leads off the Colorado 9th. Barmas, Helton, and Hop, 2, 3, and 4 for the Rockies in the 9th.
Okay, this has been eating at me, and I got to take care of it right now because stuff like this really irks me.
What you got?
Put this on my list of pet peeves. I mean, Neely, you've known me for how long?
Hard shot on one hop to Cabrera. And 1 out in the 9th.
You know what, I'm going to let it go. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Okay.
Stay tuned. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I'm good.
There's Todd Helton. Doubled in the 1st. His 499th of his career. So that's in his line to center. Grounded to 1st and popped to short. A 1-0 pitch to Helton. Rockies leading here by 2. Took game 1 of the series here last night 10-1. The 6th time this year the Rockies have scored 10 or more runs in a game on the road. Off the outside corner, 3-0. Burks 3-0 to Helton. And he walks him on 4 straight. Tonight's comparison brought to you by Marvin K. Brown, San Diego's newest Mitsubishi dealer. Well, the 10 runs they scored last night, 5th time Rockies have scored 10 or more runs here at Petco Park. You know that what sticks out there, obviously the Braves don't make a lot of trips here, but they've done it 5 times.
Yeah. You mentioned Braves, you mentioned Petco Park, and one name sticks out, Andrew Jones. He made this place look small.
He had a 3-homer game recently with Texas. Hop fouls it away. Hop has scored a run, singled twice, walked once. Padre pitching has now walked 5, 4 from Gear. None of those 4 came around to score. A hit batsman, Tulowitzki, in the 5th did come around to score. Rockies have left 8 on, Padres have stranded 5.
Oh, right at the belt buckle. And Alfonso's going to have a chat with Burke. Can't afford to give any more free passes here.
Brad Hop with a .324 average, 14 homers, top 10 in the league in average, top 10 in RBIs with 59. Breaking ball strike. Short lead by Helton, who has not attempted a stolen base this year. Greg Burks, 2-2. We've talked about Brad Hop's batting stance in the past. It is an unorthodox one, but certainly one that works for him.
Like a pitcher, you do so many things to get into that one position. Well, he starts with an open stance. He's kind of up on the dish a little bit. But it's all about getting that front foot down. I've learned this from Tony Gwynn. And those hands back. And what you do before that, you know, should be comfortable to you, the hitter.
What Hop does with his front leg is the most unusual part of that. He almost kind of corkscrews himself. He generates the torque, the power. High strike 3. Pop has a few words to say before he exits. 2 outs.
And, you know, I think, once again, this is a strike. According to the happy track there, it gets the upper inside corner. And that's under the 11 on the jersey, and I see nothing wrong with that.
Like you said, pitch track said strike.
And I would have
high inside corner.
And I would have said that if there was a Padre at the plate. A strike is a strike.
Tulowitzki looks at a strike. Two runs scored, 2 hits tonight for Tulowitzki. It's the outer half. 0-2. Looking at the Padre ninth. 6, 7, and 8 to Venable, Alfonso, Luis Rodriguez. They've already used Blanks and Edgar off the bench. That leaves Macias as a left-handed bat available. And the pitcher spot due up 4th. 0-2 pitch. The other bat available on the bench is the switch hitting catcher Lobato.
Okay, let me ask you this question. This is the pitcher coming out at me. Do you think if pitchers complained about balls and strikes as much as hitters do to umpires, they'd stick around the game as long as hitters do?
Well, I've got to really analyze your question first off semantically, because you're suggesting
hitters complain more about balls and strikes to the umpire.
Well, number
and
one,
still stay in the game. Whereas if a pitcher reacted the same way after every pitch, he'd be out on the the next train. Is that me being too much of a pitcher?
I think there's two things going at it. Number one, there has to be a poise standpoint from a pitcher's perspective to be maintained. If you're constantly complaining about that,
right.
I mean, and number two, it's just kind of geography with a hitter. You got the umpire right there.
Sure, that's a good point. The poise part of it.
Yeah. Foul back this way. Some pitchers can get away with a little barking here and there, though.
Sure.
Depending on their experience level. Burke trying to send this to the bottom of the ninth. Still a 2-run game. Tulowitzki lines it to center. Gwynn right there. That ball hit hard. Padre bullpen has been very good tonight. Last chance for San Diego. Venable, Alfonso, and Rodriguez coming up. for Petco Park. 5-3 lead for Colorado, and they bring on their closer, Houston Street.
Great numbers for the right-hander out of the bullpen. Look at the opponent's batting average, only a 201, 95-mile-an-hour fastball. That's where he'll top out. He's around 91 to 93-ish on that fastball. Basically fastball slider, but the main thing about Street is that he locates, and he will locate early. Working ahead is this right-hander.
22 for 23 in save opportunities this year, and he has saved his last 14 in a row, which is the longest active streak in the National League.
And for Houston Street, since April 26th, he's got an ERA of 1.41, and he's converted 20 of 21.
Venable leading off. Shows bunt, takes a strike, 1-1. Venable, Alfonso, and Rodriguez, the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. Will singled in the second, since then has grounded out and struck out. Houston Street has already exceeded his save total from all of last year with Oakland, when he saved 18 of 25. He had 7 blown saves last year.
What's unique about Houston Street?
What is unique about him?
Yeah. When you watch him pitch.
Well, the first thing I was going to say, and this isn't what you're looking for, is that he's still only 25 years old. He's going to turn 26 in a couple of weeks.
How about mechanically speaking?
You always like to pick up the quirks, so let me watch him one more time. I don't. There's a strikeout of Venable to begin the bottom of the ninth.
He goes from the windup.
Instead of from the stretch like most.
Yeah. A lot of relievers come out of the pen strictly from the stretch. That looks like a split finger or something, some type of changeup from Street.
Here is Eliezer Alfonso. First pitch strike. The same two teams tomorrow night. Game 3 of this 4-game series. Tune in for tomorrow's pregame show, brought to you by the Honda dealers of San Diego County. Easy on gas and easy on the planet. Stop by one of our 9 dealerships today. 6:30 tomorrow night for the Honda dealer pregame show. Jason Hamill against Kevin Correa tomorrow night.
Ball looked like it was off the plate just a tad. Houston Street getting the call.
And he gets Alfonso to chase, 2 outs. Padres down to their final out. Well, the starter Jimenez had 10 Ks. That's now 3 for the Rockies bullpen, so 13 strikeouts. Most strikeouts for a Padres opponent in a 9-inning game this year. Luis walked and scored, struck out and fly to center.
Well, he's got the rally cap going. He's hoping for some magic.
One and one. Two down, base is empty in the Padre ninth. Popped up. And the shortstop Tulowitzki squeezes it, and the Rockies win it 5-3 and have taken the first 2 games of the series.